Go up, Commissioner.
Yes, okay. All right. All right, we'll call Bannock County Commissioners in session. I'd ask for a motion to go into the Board of Equalization.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we enter into the Board of Equalization.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So we are in the Board of Equalization. I'll have the deputy clerk swear in everyone that is going to participate in a hearing in the 9 o'clock session.
Please stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that any testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. So, Jason, Lisa, you'll be the first ones up. You can go ahead and come up. So, this is a hearing of the Board of Equalization under Idaho Law 63-501. The Board of County Commissioners is required to convene as the BOE. We are here to determine market value under Idaho Code 63-205. All real, personal, and operating property subject to property taxation must be assessed annually at market value for assessment purposes as of 12:01 a.m. of the first day of January in the year in which such property taxes are levied. Furthermore, under Idaho Code 63-502, the function of the Board of Equalization shall be confined strictly to assuring that market value for assessment purposes of property has been found by the assessor, and to the functions provided for in Chapter 6, Title 63, Idaho Code relating to exemptions from taxation. It is hereby made the duty of the Board of Equalization to enforce and compel a proper classification and assessment of all property required under the provisions of this title to be entered on the property rolls, and in so doing, the Board of Equalization shall examine the rolls and shall raise or cause to be raised, or lower or cause to be lowered, the assessment of any property which in the judgment of the board has not been properly assessed. The taxpayer shall have the burden of proof in seeking affirmative relief to establish that the determination of the assessor is erroneous, including any determination of assessed value. A preponderance of the evidence shall suffice to sustain the burden of proof. We're here to discuss the market value of the property, the condition, state, or information that is relevant to this topic. This is fact, not conjecture, or things you may think. We are not here to discuss taxes, past grievances, policy, personal income, or other issues. If you do not stick to the discussion as requested, your time will be reclaimed. So the property owner will be given 3 minutes to give their side. If the assessor has questions, we'll answer questions. Then the assessor will be given 3 minutes. And then if there's questions, you'll be able to ask questions. Be kind, direct all questions or comments to the board. If your conduct is out of line, you will be warned. If your conduct continues to be out of line, you'll be asked to leave or escorted from the premises. Go ahead and state, well, this white light will come on as we start the 3 minutes. The yellow light comes on, you have 1 minute left. When the red light goes on and the buzzer goes off, you're done for your discussions. Okay, go ahead and state your names for the record and your time will begin.
Jason and Lisa Smith. We're here to discuss the property that we own up on Thunder Mountain Recreation. So we're just trying to figure out the property value of it. There doesn't seem to be a ballpark figure. There's just kind of be a wag at everything what they're guessing, because we got 3 lots that are on the same exact road that have power, electricity, septic tanks, everything running to it, and their property value ranges from $5,000 an acre up to $14,500 an acre. We got some more in everything from 6 acres to 3 acre lots. There's another lot right up the road from us, assessed at $73,000 at $20,000 an acre, that don't have any permanent structure on it, no power, no septic. Ours was the same. It valued at $72,500, and we have, even though we are 3.3 acres, we have a spot big enough for a trailer to be parked on. Even though it's 3.3 acres, only half an acre of it is usable because of the grade. It's too expensive to build on. And I get that some people might say, well, you can build a cabin or put anything on it. No permits have ever been pulled on my property for a cabin. No permits will ever be pulled for for a cabin on my property because the grade of it is just way too much and it'd be astronomical to try to build something on that property. Our thing is just there's no consistency to it. So how do we know what we're paying for? The increased assessment was particularly due to assessors not assessing properties correctly for the past 20 years, is what we was told. That reason for many increase, some owners have been told that assessor's office will reduce the assessment just one time. I just want to get what's the ballpark that we're working on here? How do we figure it? It needs to be consistent, and which I think everybody would agree, but how do we get the consistency to know what it's worth? If there's nothing that you can build on said properties. If there's permits pulled and permanent structures have been installed, wouldn't that be this? And I'm just asking, I mean, wouldn't that be just like your housing market? How they assess, sees what the property has, and then pulls comps for everything else around that area to see what the housing market is worth, or what? Because I was told that, there's properties up there now. Currently, there are several properties on that same road that we live on. Sorry.
All right. Questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Okay, your 3 minutes begin right now.
Okay. I would like to, as I start off, address some of the concerns. Number one, lot size. We go by a lot size, but according to the cells, the larger the lot, the less per square foot, the less per acre. So if you buy a 20-acre parcel, you might be willing to pay $20,000, but you're certainly not going to pay, $70,000 per acre. So, and it's all based on cells to stay within our requirements of being at market value. I would like to also state that the 2023 sales are not on our web viewer yet. They won't go on until August when all values are certified. But so this year we did go out and we equalized that area. All lots are on the same land schedule, and well and septic is above and beyond that. So we would add additional costs for well and septic. And we do not use, when we use comparables, we will use bare land cells. I would like to also state that subject property was one of those last year that we brought down for equity purposes and not for value purposes, because we do want to be equitable. This year, all values have been equalized, and it's all based on sales. Going to comparables, subject property is coming in at 0.44 per square foot. And you'll notice that all these comparables have fairly the same acreage, 3.54 and 3.3. Comparable 1 is coming in at 0.47 per square foot, comparable 2, 0.54, and comparable 3, 0.56. So subject property is still below actual sales in that area for the 2023 tax year. If you jump to the next, though, that is a map that will show you where these cells are located. And I would like to also state that this is a recreational area, and we do use cells right within that area, and it's topography throughout all of it. Some maybe a little more than others, but the appeal of that area is recreational, and the mountains, and we have seen no sign that topography.
Thank you. Do you have questions?
So
You're
yes.
talking directly to us. at
Oh,
all
yes,
times.
the comparables. From what I'm seeing, that's how I don't see how they're comparable, because a 4-acre lot on the same road line, one 4-acre lot is going 14,000 an acre, where a 3.4 acre lot is going for 29.2 thousand per acre. A 2-acre lot, 25,000 per, 29.95 acres, 5.8 per acre. So where are the comparables? Because none of these, 4.2 acres, 23,000 an acre, 2 acres, 25,000 an acre, 2.87, 17,000 per acre. And those are right on Thunder Mountain Road. Wells, there's no wells up there. You can't have a well up there. Everything is fed off of a stream. You know, no sewer, so everything is all septic up there.
Question, where are you getting your sales data from?
I'm sorry, what?
Where are you getting your sales data from?
Just off the internet,
Is it sales data or listing data?
sales data. That we got everything. Because we have listing data too, and my belief, the listing data, doesn't matter what you list it at, it's what it's sold for.
Right, I was just curious, because
Yeah,
I've never
because-
seen sales data on the internet.
Because I've often, when I was asked about this, and I made the comment, I said, well, if everything's based off your listing data, couldn't everybody just list their property at $10,000?
Yeah,
you don't have to sell it.
No, I understand that. I was
You know,
just curious to
so-
make sure that it was really sales. data.
Right, so that's what,
So I would like to follow up with that. Where did you get your sales data from off the internet? Because I agree with Commissioner Crowder. You don't see sales data very often, so where'd you get it from?
what was it?
I just Googled it. And then some of the first numbers that he gave are people that we know that are on the mountain. So,
You have a comment?
Well, I just wondered if that sales data they're getting, when she says you Googled it, did she go to our parcel viewer to get it? Because that's 2022 information. So I just don't know if that's where she got it. 'cause
I don't
if
know where
that's
your
got it,
parcel,
then-
I don't know what the parcel viewer is.
Okay.
I'm sorry for.
Any other comments? And did you say that you own three other parcels?
No, we only own one.
You
We
only
know
own one, so
of these
you're
other
showing the
parcels.
other.
Of
Okay.
showing of the other
Okay.
parcels that we know of, what they were purchased and what their assessment was. And then just these other ones are the properties on the same roadway.
So, question here. Each parcel has a building lot, or building right on the parcel.
Not all of them. Some of them, these ones do, like ours doesn't have any building on it.
No building on it, but you
No.
have the right, if you so chose, to
Yes.
put one on it. Otherwise, you can't,
Well, I have
you
to-
couldn't do anything with that property.
I guess it depends on if they would give me a permit, depending on what I was gonna build on it. So,
Exactly. But
yeah.
that's all I'm saying, is as I look at parcels, as you look at parcels, it has a building right on it. And if it has a building right on it, then that first acre, half acre, whatever, has a greater value because you have the ability to build on it. The extra acres, are they different? Am I wrong?
You are incorrect, because what we have found, and this is based off of sales, and I'm going to throw a number out there, that a person will buy a 1-acre lot for 50,000, let's say, but they aren't going to buy a 2-acre lot for 100,000. So the more acreage, the lower it goes out.
And that's what I'm getting at.
Yes.
Is if you have the ability to build on something, it's a lot different than buying something out there that you can't do anything but run your horse on. So the acreage is a little different in how we value, depending on what is able to be
Absolutely, and
used.
that's why we use actual sales within that area.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Would that,
Okay. And now, I want, right here, I want the commissioners to talk, because yesterday, what is today? Monday, we had an individual up there in the same area that had a lot that was 7+ acres, 7.47 acres at 100,000. And just exactly like you said, and that's what we set on with this. This one is valued at 72,921. And then the other thing I want to point out is this is the third time in 5 years that you come to BOE. And we've lowered the value every time that we've done.
No, sir.
This is our first time
This is
here.
our first time here. Last year was our first year that we owned it.
Okay, then this property has been to BOE.
Oh, got you.
Okay, that's what I have here before me is
Okay.
what the property is. And so this property, this is the third time in 5 years. And every time we've adjusted down, which means that we get out of balance because we keep taking the price down and it doesn't match all the other sales and stuff around it. Now, so that's why I'm having this conversation here, is so that we're all looking at the same data as we evaluate the situation here. Any comments?
Well, you know, as I'm looking at the comps and things, and the comps they're recent. It is sales data. Some of them are very close. One is December 9th of 2022, so that's almost right at the same time when you have to evaluate on January 1. And so as I'm looking at the comp data here, it looks like they're actually in pretty good, they're doing pretty well compared to the other properties as far as having a lower assessed value.
Yeah, I'm kind of agreeing with Commissioner Crowder on that one. Let me just look at one more thing real quick.
And and these are actual sales, so.
Can I ask a question?
Okay.
Well, on something that I was just under the impression that, and like you said, if it's land that you can only put your horses on or what you have a right to build on, was I under the impression, talking to the one guy that came out for our meeting that kind of explained all this, was you also have to take into consideration if you're able to build on it. Like none of those lots are flat. You know, I mean, it's a 8% grade. I mean, how are you, you know, that the cost to construct something would just be astronomical to get equipment, material up on something, and then to grade out as the side of a mountain to build on would offset any cost to, is that right? Or did I understand that wrong?
Did you go out to talk to this group?
And that is true. That is what Jason alluded to, that if they were not buildable, but we have to have something from planning and zoning or somewhere stating that it's truly not a buildable lot to be able to do that. And unfortunately, it may not be buildable to you, but if somebody had a lot of money, unfortunately, they could make it buildable. And so
Somebody was willing.
That's
And
our
that's where I go
problem.
back to,
Yeah,
that every one of these
that's-
lots have a building
They
permit,
do.
could get a building permit on the lot. So,
Well, and comp number 1 is right next to the existing property. So with a sales price of $72,190 as of February of '22, I struggle to say that the value isn't correct.
I'd ask for a motion.
Mr. Chair, on parcel RPRRTMR0-17300, I'd make a motion that we uphold the assessed value.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
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 So we upheld the assessor's value. If you don't agree with it, or if they don't agree with it, both of you have the ability to appeal one to the, well, let me start all over. You're gonna get a letter saying what happened here in a couple of weeks. And after you get that letter, you can come in and file a petition to appeal to the state, or you have the ability to go to the district courts and appeal also. But other than that, this board is ended with this decision.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully it doesn't triple again next year.
Shouldn't.
All right, Vaughn? I like your Bengal Wednesday.
Yeah. I see you're wearing your colors.
All right, please state your name, and then your 3 minutes will begin.
My name's Vaughn Smith. I'm here on parcel RPR 401-304-9517. I can't get all this information in 3 minutes, so I won't bother. This open space, we do this every year, and it's riddled with state law violations. Idaho Code 63-601 and 602, Idaho Code 55-601. That's just to name a few. Homeowners, HOAs in all this open space are not registered with the Secretary of State. This stuff's a mess. I mean, I'm just hoping to get mine reduced so that Anita can get this fixed in the year that she inherited this mess. I'm hoping somebody can get it fixed. So you guys can do whatever you want to do. I really don't care. I can take it to district court. It don't matter to me.
Okay?
I would like to refer you to the bottom of the appeal package. And in there is a email that came from the State Tax Commission instructing us on how to deal with common area and open space. If you follow down, there's one from the State Board of Tax Appeals that pretty much is saying that we are doing it correctly. So, and real for open space and common area, and I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you.
Okay. Comments back?
It hasn't been assessed. The open space never gets assessed. And so it can't be taxed if it hasn't been assessed. And we've done this before, and the assessors tells us that because you're in a subdivision with open space, then that value goes on the homeowner's value of their property. If the value is 0, then it can't raise the taxes of the homeowner's property because it's assessed at 0. So there is no tax ever paid on the assessment because it's never assessed. It's at 0. If you dug over in their files over there, they would have an administrative information sheet that would give the land data and the calculations for the open space. That would be, I'm assuming, would be 0 if I dug into that and found that. Then then they got another one over there that is and that would have a tax number on it. The open space, I'm assuming, doesn't even have a tax number because it's in it's given to an HOA that is not registered with the Secretary of State, so it doesn't have a mailing address. There's no place to even mail the assessment to. So it's not assessed and it's not taxed.
Well, and reading the information that has come from the state, we are doing it properly, and that certain piece of property is included in everybody else's tax or assessment. So in reality, it is being taxed by everybody in that HOA.
But it's not transparent. You can't see that.
And that's a discussion that we've had this year, the second one that's been in here already this week, and we've talked about this. But according to the State Tax Commission, we are doing what is right. Anita is looking into things, so if something happens next year, but at this point right now, we are following both the state and the guidance that we've been given. Comments, questions?
No, and again, sadly, what the discussion is beyond the purview of what we can do right now, so. What's the parcel number?
I think this would be really a legislative issue if they wanted to make some changes in this regard, wouldn't it?
Would this be more of a legislative issue?
And I actually was just thinking that very same thing, that I need to take it to the assessors and see if we can get it in a legislative issue to be more of a tax rule. And, yeah.
Because I agree with you, sir, that it's not as transparent as it should be to help everybody understand. So we'll see if we go to work on it, and see what we can do to fix that. But as of this time, Mr. Chair, on
Well,
personal,
just one comment. And I agree with Commissioner Huff and with you. Anytime I look on the viewer or anything else and I see 0 for a tax base, it drives me nuts. But,
The more people that are taxed, the less my taxes are. That's the theory.
yeah. So, anyway, Commissioner Huff.
Mr. Chair, on parcel RPR 401-304-9517, I'd make a motion that we uphold the assessed value.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So you heard me say that you do have the ability to appeal.
I understand.
And either way.
All right.
Thank you for your
Thank you,
time.
guys.
Yes, thank you.
All right, Mike? Michael? Go ahead and announce yourself,
Michael Seychow.
and your 3 minutes begin now.
Okay, so this information I pulled up came from Bannock County Parcel Viewer. And this is based on 2022 year assessed value by parcel, by my parcel number RPGF 4001900. Land with 0.38 acreage was valued at $135,200. And compared to my neighbors, lot, I do not agree with the assessor's value. Now keep in mind that each lot varies in acreage and size. So example number 1, parcel RPGF 4002000, land with the 0.32 acreage, value was assessed at $92,000. Example 2, parcel RPGF 4002100, land with the 0.31 acreage, value was assessed at $80,000. Example 3, parcel RPGF 3001200, land with the acreage of 0.39, value was assessed at $92,950. Example 4, parcel RPCS 100200, land with 0.80 acreage, value was assessed at $135,200. So as you can clearly see that the calculation is not fair. And I believe that everybody should be treated fairly.
Okay? Question?
I would like to emphasize that that was last year's assessed values. The appraisal department, assessor's department has worked very feverishly to get those all equitable and up to market value. And this year, values up there are all equitable and based on actual sales.
Okay.
So all the neighbors, if you look on the map.
So are you answering now, or are you in your time period?
That's my time period, that's all I have to say.
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure that,
Yeah,
that we knew which direction you was headed.
yes.
Any comments about what you just said?
No.
Okay. So the fact is that last year you were right. Your property value was $135,000. This year it's $120,000.
Yes.
So they've gone in this year, all your neighbors.
And I'm just looking at all of your neighbors right now.
Yes.
And everybody in that block is at 120,000. So it has been uniform across that whole neighborhood now.
Okay, so this year's value, which I can't see, I don't have. So
Correct.
I based solely on 2022.
Which was a valid argument.
Yes, and so and the reason why I base on that and I don't have this year's information is because how did the value go up so high? That's my concern.
With the market sales in that area is what they've gone off of.
Okay, and that's fair.
So,
right? So the market value, so is that, so they're saying that,
Yours went down, your neighbors come up, so now you're all equal. But we won't tell them you're the one that caused theirs to come up. No, I'm just kidding you. I'm just kidding you. I like this to be a little light. I know we're all talking about values and monies and everything else, but they are doing a great job of trying to equal out some things that hadn't been done in the past.
okay.
And so they are working very hard. Further, Commissioner?
No, like I said, I've gone through like 10, 15 houses right around you, and they're all leveled at that 120 in that neighborhood.
So can I ask a question? So it, right, even though with lot size, it's still, is that how it's based on?
Yes.
Which I don't think is fair.
Well, and that's why you come in individually, and if you had something that says, my lot has this problem, or the terrain, or I can't build on it, or, you know, kind of like the people in the very first one. But if everybody's generally the same, not always the same lot size, they go do a mass appraisal. They look at the sales in the area, and then they don't go to every single property and say, well, this one's got this many feet, and this one's got this many feet. So they do a mass appraisal, and it comes out that that's how they do their evaluation. Am I right this time?
You are. It's a site value based on location.
So site value, does that mean that where the house is located and what views they get and all that stuff? Or when you talk about site value?
That's what you would have to bring to us to specifically to say, my property varies from this other property. Because when they're going and looking, they're not looking at the site, at the views or any of that stuff. They're just saying, you have this lot, this is what we're valuing it. You're able to build a house on it. This is what we can value that at. If you had concerns about your lot different from your neighbors, then you'd have to bring us pictures and a preponderance of evidence of what we would make our decision on.
Okay.
But from the information that you brought us, there's not a preponderance of evidence, in my opinion, to change the values that they've set on it. I mean, they've dropped you $15,000, $14,000 off your lot size as they did the appraisals this year, the mass appraisals. Anything?
No.
Motion?
Mr. Chairman, parcel RPGF 4001900, I would make a motion that we uphold the assessed value.
So we have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So we upheld their values, and like I told everybody else, you have the ability to, you'll get a letter saying what happened here.
Okay.
And after that, you get that letter, you can come in and go to the clerk's office down here and file an appeal, either to the state, or you can go further and you can appeal to the court system.
Okay,
All right. Thank you.
thank you.
All right. Orlando, Buongiorno. And in his application, there's absolutely nothing on the appeal. I mean,
Mr. Chair, on parcel RPBAE 000500, make a motion that we uphold the assessed value due to a lack of any evidence.
we have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then also with Tanner Whalen. Got some comments there, but nothing really in his appeal.
Mr. Chair, on parcel RCBE 300300, due to a lack of a preponderance of evidence, I'd make a motion that we uphold the assessed value.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
With that being said,